In this. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. Uh today is Wednesday, February the 19th, 2025, and I'm super excited because today we're gonna be looking at the movements that the market has been giving us. We're gonna be looking at the moves from yesterday and the moves that we've been expecting the market to do for us the whole week. And it's exciting to see how sometimes all you have to have is patience. All you have to do is have the understanding of it. You know what I'm saying? So first things first, we did see EURUSD ended up selling. We did ended up seeing big sales on GJ. We did ended up seeing right now with USD Chef. USD Chef is kind of, if we look into the smaller time frame, people will say that USD Chef consolidated. I would just say that USD Chef is just kind of climbing the mountain in order for her to go down. Then we had gold. Gold ended up giving us the sales that we're expecting. We had a sales for about 200 pips. If we look at the area where she ended up selling into, she ended up selling into a previous resistance. So a lot of times we must understand that the market will, it sells or it buys. If the market, let's say the market just left a upward trend. What the market essentially does a lot of times is that he ends up selling in areas that the market has been to. I mean, he ends up selling two areas that the market has been either previous, it has been previous resistance. Now, if the market it's buying, is gonna push. That's your TP is gonna go from the moment you take a buy into the moment into the last support areas that he had. A example of this can be this one here. An example of all this that I'm telling you about could be that this last sale that we saw. What did the market do? The market ended up pushing up to a previous resistance area slash support. If we look at GBPJPY, that's what GBPJPY did. You know what I'm saying? He ended up buying, well, he ended up selling from a previous support zone, which was not 192,021. Okay, we ended up seeing sales, and now we're seeing a quick little buys with gold. With silver right now, silver did ended up giving us similar motion as gold. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and reset the charts, you know what I'm saying, for tomorrow. I'm gonna just reset maybe this GJ chart right here. USD Chef. I think USD Chef, this one can still play out. I think this chart is still valuable. In my opinion, I think USD Chef might actually be the move for today. As we see, USD Chef actually ended up buying. He ended up closing below the zone. So what we could potentially see now is that USD Chef might end up giving us one more push, and then from there we could possibly see some sales. So honestly, I would just be really careful with USD Chef because if we look at it, she actually has been building a lot of liquidity within like areas like this one right here. Okay. And then we have a lot of liquidity within this zone, which I mean, I wouldn't mind if she actually ends up selling, real quick. But gold, this is one that we're gonna have to redo. Of course, gold is the one we do redo every day. Same with silver, okay? Euro USD, same as well. Okay, so now let's go ahead. Let's do this. From the top to the bottom, let's go ahead and first things first that we always do, as we all have an understanding, it's we're gonna go ahead and find those daily levels. And when we find those daily levels, what we're essentially doing is for areas where the market could reverse at. As we are seeing, the market did ended up pushing towards a daily level, and we ended up seeing the sales starting to happen. So a lot of times two things can happen. It can either be a reversal zone, or it can either be a it can either be a reversal or a little daily pullback. You have to be careful with those two. Why? Number one, because a lot of times it may not fully be a reversal quite yet. You know what I'm saying? So keep an eye on that. Okay, next thing that we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna find the lower one, which is this one. Okay. Now we're gonna go into the 4 hour. In the 4 hour, what we're gonna go ahead and do, as y'all know, we're gonna go ahead and identify those next selling points. What are those next selling points that we could potentially see sales within the market? The first point that's coming into my eyesight is this one. Honestly, if we look at the trend that the market is doing, we can see that little trend happening. You know what I'm saying? Right here, we saw a little trend right here. So this could potentially, that zone where the market's at right now could potentially be the next trend zone. So honestly, where the market's at right now, where the market's rejecting from, I think that's a really good zone. Based on where the market's at and things of that matter, I think that's a really good zone. And the next zone will be that zone right above it, which is if we actually look into, it's kind of like a little, if we look into it, that was essentially previous. That was an area that the market had left imbalanced before. Now we're gonna go into the 1 hour just to double check on all this information. I like this because number one, the market has been previous, resisting and support in these two zones. You know what I'm saying? So I do want to see. Yeah, I like them. I'm not gonna double hesitate because that's what happens a lot of times. We double hesitate and then we end up just losing instead of winning. If we actually end up seeing the Fibonacci extension, we can potentially maybe see the market. Let's see what the market does within this zone. Even if the market were to push a bit higher with one more candle, I think that might be just a selling candle. I think we might see some sales. Now, if we look at the previous where the market has been at, we did see a break of structure right here. This is the 1 hour, by the way. If we look at the 4 hour, there was a break of structure in a much higher area, which was this one right here. We just want to go break the floor, honestly. If we do end up seeing the floor getting broken, I wouldn't be even mad. So let me see. Just want to make sure that. So this is the floor that we want to break right here. So that can potentially be a little trade idea that you can potentially take advantage of. So 4 hour floor. So, and also look at it, if you actually look at this zone with the zone that we marked up right here, that has been previous support right here and then previous resistance right here. So I do want to see maybe the market give me the sales within these two zones. I wouldn't really mind. And if those two zones are, it's a good, way of selling. But I will be patient though. Patience is the key, guys. For patience is the virtue that you need in order for you to be successful in trading. Trading is not hard, guys. I'm gonna just put it that way. Trading is not hard. The thing that you must understand is that trading is gonna be as hard as you think it is. Does that make sense? So, I mean, honestly, even if we do end up seeing because the market could do two things right here. If we actually look at the way that the market's, forming, I do want to see sales. And then from those sales, I want to maybe see a push and then something like that. That would be amazing. But I mean, I'm not here to predict the future. I'm not here to, honestly be like, okay, the market's going to do this. What I'm here for is to find the motion that the market's on right now. You know what I'm saying? The movements that the market could potentially give us. If we look at right here, the market did end up giving us a break of structure right there. What we want to do is we want to go ahead and catch the next break of structure, which is where the liquidity is at. At the end of the day, we are catching 4 hour liquidity, not 1 hour liquidity. So remember that, guys. When I mark up liquidity, we're looking at the higher time frame, liquidity. So we have all those rejections, those previous rejection zones. Two things can happen now. If we look at the 1 hour, we could potentially, even if the market does end up, doing this, let's say the market does end up selling from there, but the market never ends up breaking below there. but it pushes up. If the market ends up pushing up one more time, breaking above here and closing here, yeah, she's gonna keep wanting to switch around. Now, if the market does end up pushing towards here, we might see another pullback towards this zone right here. And from there, we could potentially be seeing some selling motion as well. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what she does. I only gave those two zones, number one, because those are zones that we want to stay away from, or zones that we could potentially be seeing sales. Because I can actually put this right here and be like, okay, that's another selling zone right there. Does that make sense? So a lot of times what I like to do is I like to give y'all kind of both zones. Because even if the market, let's say the market does end up pushing down, okay, pushes to here, but then rises up here. There you go. You can be looking at something like that as well, you know? So I'm honestly, I like this zone, the one that I just gave you guys. But what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is I'm gonna go ahead and just put maybe like see, let me see the 4 hour. So I gave you the two zones. So I'm gonna just give you this right here. So what this zone right there, guys, it's we don't want to see the market break above there. Okay. If market breaks above here, changing, we're gonna be seeing changing of structure, okay? Change of the structure. So let's say the market does end up buying. Okay, let's say the market does end up spiking up. We end up seeing a buy. Guess what? When the pullback happens, take the buy. I'm saying. So think about that, guys. Also, look at where the liquidity is at, the true liquidity. You know what I'm saying? We look at liquidity, the true liquidity here is up there. You know what I'm saying? The true liquidity here is down here. And overall, if we look at the daily, you know what I'm saying? We look at the daily overall, we are in a consolidation zone, guys. We're not in either a buying or a selling. We're consolidating. We've been consolidating for the past, few days. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. I do want to see the market push down, maybe close below over here and then push out if it wants to change structure. Not only that, but we never saw the market close above this little high right here. So we'll see what happens. But that's kind of like my overview with EURUSD, honestly. Let's look at the JPYs. Let's look at GBPJPY. Okay. GBPJPY. Okay. We did end up seeing the sales from this zone right here, which was a good zone. You just gotta have patience, guys, and honestly understand that the markets are gonna get to the point, you know what I'm saying? Like the next day I want to see getting target will be this one. Since we are seeing the market just, giving us those breakup structures, things of that matter. I'm saying we look at the trend that the market has been in the daily wise. We can see that the market's in a downtrend. So that's I want to see something like that maybe happen. I forgot to actually do this to the Fibonacci extension with EU. My bad, guys. From daily to daily. Look at that, guys. 76.40 is around 1.04349. So I do want to see that's a really good area, honestly. Now let me go back to GJ. So GJ right there. GJ ended up giving us the sales, which was amazing. Honestly, I'm proud of myself. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm so proud of myself. I'm proud of every single one of y'all too. Y'all been killing me. So Now with GJ, I don't want to see sales happening. I don't want to see that continuation of sales. So mm, mhm, right there. So those are my two zones that I'm looking at. Look at this. Perfect. Yeah, those are the two zones. The reason why I chose this second zone, guys, while number one, is because if we look at it, anything above this zone right here has been just buying the majority of the time. If we look at it, that has been a previous, support zone. If we look at the past, support. So now, since the market did ended up shifting trends, that's why I want to see the selling motion happening, within that zone. So maybe, yeah, right here, that's a really good zone. Let's see. The reason why I chose the higher zone was because that's where the market actually opened up at. So a lot of times what ends up happening is that the market does end up, pushing into those zones just to close that little imbalances. If we go to a smaller time frame, like let's say the 3 minute, you're gonna actually be able to spot it a lot more. Like right here, you'll see how there's that imbalance right there, which is this one right here. Where the market opens up, a lot of times we can see the markets actually end up reversing towards it. So those are my two zones that I'm looking at. You just gotta be patient. If you're not patient, the game is gonna do you dirty. I'm gonna just say that, guys. If you're not patient enough, the game is gonna do you dirty. Let me do 19200. Maybe let me see what happens when I do that. Let's see. Yeah, I think see. You're so close to it. That's one. 500. This right here. Yeah, from 19200 and 19500 the zones, guys. Honestly. Yeah, look at that. 19200 and 19500 zones. Not only that, because but they're also psychological numbers. If you look at it, they do end up in 0 0. So in trading, guys, there's this thing that's psychological, which is in life overall. You gotta understand that people who are trading in these big banks, all these things, they're actually people just like you and me. And there's this psychological effect that has to do with zeros, with point feet, with point five zeros, things of that matter. You know what I'm saying? So those are the two zones that I will be looking at. Um, we ended up seeing a break of structure right here. Now, let's say like you asked that, well, Samuel, what if the market sells off right now? What if the market sells off right now? What is the next area we could potentially be taking buys at? I will honestly be looking at this zone right here, guys, for buys. Okay. Let's say the market does end up selling. And not only that, but if we look at my actual trade, um, that zone is actually my TP. So that's why I'm looking at buys within that zone just because of all this money. So yeah, I mean if we do end up seeing the selling happening, from here to here, I would just let her ride, honestly, if she does end up. And I think she might actually do that. Because if we look at the trend overall, oops, my bad, guys. If we look at the overall trend from here to where she pushed into, she could potentially push into this zone right here, which I wouldn't be mad if she ends up doing it. Because her pushing up here causes me to actually get into another entry right here and taking it all the way to my floor, which is the 4-hour floor. So this is our 4-hour floor right here. So If market breaks it, change of character, of character, change of trend. That's what we're gonna be seeing. So honestly, I think this is a dope setup. You know, anywhere that you take the trade from any of these two zones, I think you're gonna be all fine. You're gonna be all good. You know what I'm saying? See what time to say. Okay. Now, if we do end up looking at the liquidity, then we do have that imbalance right there too, which is another reason why I want to see the market push up. Imbalance, okay? And the only liquidity we have is right here, you know? So that's another reason why I want to see the market just sell towards that zone. But like how I say, if the market does end up pushing towards this zone, we could potentially be looking at buys, but we'll see. And we look at this whole candle right there, where is it at? You know what I'm saying? It's not there. So that's another reason why I want to see the market just push into it. Yeah, UPJPY is all good. I mean, it's already kind of like, giving us the little, trend type of emotion. So that's why I want to see maybe something like that and it sells. Now let's go to Chef. Chef is actually gonna be another good pair. As long as maybe like if we look at the 1 hour trend, if Chef does end up pulling up, pushing down, breaking below this liquidity, actually closing itself, pushing back up, I will honestly be taking that trade around this one. I don't think she might put, I mean, if you get lucky enough, she closes below here and you get into it and I'm like, okay, like you did good, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, I wouldn't be mad if she pushes up maybe towards 50%, which is where she's pushing into. And then maybe she does end up pushing into that liquidity, which is down here and wiping it out. We could potentially be seeing her pushing up into the zone and then sells. So that's kind of like what I'm looking at right now. This is kind of like a scenario. So honestly, you can be taking advantage of, let me see, if she does end up pushing into down here of about 62 pips, if you want to take it towards, one and you just want to collect a quick bag. And this is gonna be a 1 to 3. So something like that will be cool as well. With Chef. This is Chef, by the way. It doesn't make as much moves as the other pairs do. Now let's go take a look at gold, guys. You guys are here mainly for gold. Y'all some gold diggers. So that's what we're here for. She's at the daily right now. So we'll see what she does. Um from daily to daily. No, man. Yeah, I think that's the next daily. Let me see 4 hour wine. Honestly, that's gonna be my only zone that I'm thinking. I think she might actually hit us again because we ended up seeing a break of structure right here, you know? So she might actually be on selling mode tonight, honestly. But thus far, I can tell you that she might be selling, guys, because if you actually look into it, let's get the gold. Let's go. If you actually look at the gold, the way the gold trades, it's if you actually look at previous price action, like we look up previously, gold pushes down, pushes up, and guess what? It sells. So if we're gonna be selling, guys, if we're gonna be selling, we might just sell. We might do a quick sell. You know what I'm saying within gold. We're gonna be seeing it right now, though. Let me see. So that area number one, and the second area will be honestly where she's at. So I will honestly keep an eye out on 29.45. I don't think it's 29.45. 29.45 zone. and then 29.40. Those are two zones that I'm gonna be looking at. Why am I looking at 29.40? If you actually look at it, the market has been there before right here. It has stayed under 29.45, 29.40 zone is a good zone. As much as we want her to, honestly turn around right now on us, um, if she does end up pushing into this zone, pushing back down, guess what? That's gonna be your zone for buying. Now we look at the 4-hour zone. That was the previous floor that he did. So the floor did ended up closing below it, guys. If we look at the 1 hour, we pull out the trend trap. Trend trap still saying that it's on a trend. So candle with no wick. So there isn't necessarily explanation that I have for you. So all I will say is that a candle with no wick is just an attraction point, because a regular candle, what I'm saying, we all know how a candle looks like. There's a wick at the top, a wick at the bottom. A candle with no wick is like this one right here. Well, not that one. Let me try to find one. Basically, a candle with no wick, it's like this one. You see how it doesn't have no wick at the top? Even though the market sold, the market ended up pushing back up. You know what I'm saying? It's just an attraction point. So honestly, this one looks like a really good zone. If we look at the trend chart right now, 15-minute time frame, because that's what trend chart is. Trend chart is it's more of a, we can see that she actually broke the structure. So we'll see what she does overall. Yeah, she hasn't really broken it. So what I want to see, maybe like her come down, pushing up, and that's when I'm gonna be taking advantage. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she might just do it with 3 candles. So keep an eye out for that. Um, yeah. So if we look at the 4 hour, look at that, guys. She ended up pushing towards that liquidity up there. So we could potentially be seeing her come down here and wiping all that liquidity out. If we look at the 1 hour liquidity, we can see that there's liquidity here. And here and here. So, I mean, also she did end up breaking this structure right here. 4 hour wise, we saw that break of structure right there. So we'll see what she does. Honestly, I do want to see. I mean, she has three candles active right now. I just want to give her more time to sell, push up, and then we'll see what she does. Silver overall, we could potentially be seeing. See, silver at the daily right now. So that's our daily sun right there. Okay, that's the next one right here. Now we're gonna go into the 4 hour. So silver is kind of like giving more of an uptrend type of look, except down here. So what I want to see is maybe silver push up. I like that number right there. It's a good number right here. And then maybe sales. I like that one. And oh yeah, I like this other one right here. I like where she's at right now. If we look at the 1 hour, yeah, she might just be pushing into that zone. So we'll see what we end up seeing. Same thing. I'm not gonna be giving like either a buy zone or anything like that. She could have retraced maybe from point to point. Look at that. 23.60, 38.20 zone. She might retrace into there, and then we might see some selling happening. Same thing. I mean, 1 hour wise, we did end up seeing the break of structure happen right here. But if we look at the 4 hour, all we ended up seeing was liquidity, which is actually pretty good because that means that that's attracting the market. So let's see what we ended up seeing. I do want to see maybe the sales happening, honestly. We might see sales low-key or what. That's what I want to see. So I'm going to go through them one more time. Look at that, guys. EURUSD, like how I had mentioned. See, as long as we see EURUSD, maybe give us the next few candles red, we could potentially be seeing the continuation of the sales happening. GJ, whew, baby, we're gonna be seeing that. If we look at GJ, GJ is gone. So honestly, I wouldn't even look to trade her. I think she's gone. Yeah, we're not gonna. If she does end up pushing into there, then possibly she might. I don't know, because this is a red candle. And this is from the 10 p.m., which is the candle right now. Once 10:45 p.m. comes around, she ends up doing a change. Chef, yeah, I do want to see maybe Chef push up, or even if Chef pushes down right now, right here, wipes it, we might see a pullback and a continuation. So at the end of the day, this might be the sales that we might be seeing. I just want to see Chef, honestly. Give me Chef might be the one, guys, for tonight. And if we do end up putting our stop loss clearly around here, guess what? That's a 10 stop loss and that's a 62 profit. So that's 1 to 10 with Chef. So think about that. Gold. She a gold digger, so we might see the sales happening. Yeah, she's giving me uptrend right here, right here, right here. Then she said, "Oh, my bad." So if she does end up pushing into a zone, it might be into this liquidity right here. So I wouldn't be mad if she does end up giving me that. Silver, she the cousin, so we might see her wipe down all this liquidity here. Also, I think if I'm not mistaken, I rarely check this, but if there's news tomorrow, oh then there was news at 2 p.m. today. FOMC happened today at 2 p.m. See, 10, 11, 12. Oh, look at that. That's where the market sold at FOMC. That's crazy. I don't even look at news, guys. There is a 30 tomorrow. Unemployment claims. Unemployment claims. It is a huge one. I will honestly sleep through the night, guys. If y'all gonna be trading, I wouldn't stay up trading tonight. Because if y'all look at news, I'm gonna be honest, this is on BS. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you're like, I wanna be on the grind. My brother, sister. If you do not sleep, your mind is not gonna be good enough to look at the charts. Most of the times I've blown accounts has been while I've been tired, you know. But for those of you guys on my YouTube channel, guys, thank you guys so much for hopping on today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember, comment, like, subscribe, and keep, watching, guys, because that's how you're gonna acquire the skills.